Hi again. In this video, we're going to focus exclusively on a concept called the value pyramid. The value pyramid is important because it talks about the journey that a customer goes on in their lifetime of working with you. It's also something that when we executed on the executive retreats in both the US and Canada, had a lot of people that were looking to understand it in more detail or more deeply. So I wanted to break this out separately from the other strategy videos, but you can lump that into the same grouping. So let's talk a little bit about the pyramid and let's set up the foundation to start. The first layer of the pyramid is something that we called aware. Aware is just saying, I know you exist or I see your offer. When you take that up to the next level, okay, you break through this noise barrier and there's this next level called interested. And interested means you've caught my attention and I want to know more. Now, if you go a step further than that, now you've got their awareness, you've got them interested in your offer. Now you have to get them bought into the trip. So they're bought into the trip, they're working with you, and they're ready to go on their journey. Now, the interesting thing that we typically saw in agencies is that's where everything usually stopped. Okay, so you'd have a customer go up, they go through those three phases, and then they come back from the trip. Maybe they get a thank you note from you. But then they go back into this aware stage. Now, maybe you've done your homework or you've done your due diligence and you've put them into a CRM and now you're giving them offers that you think that they're going to like on a regular basis. But again, you have to break through all of that noise again and you have to get the right offer at the right place at the right time in order to start to bring them back up through this stack. That's very transactionally focused. What we saw in this research is that was actually a separator between the best agencies and agencies that were just doing okay. There's actually more to this pyramid. There's more levels. So let's talk about those. So if you go a step past this engaged level, what did you find? You started to find customers that were now invested in you, meaning they believed in your value. And in many cases, they were proactively approaching you for new trip ideas or asking you questions about trips that they were thinking about. They were coming to you rather than you having to constantly go to them. When we looked, we actually saw then another level of customer. And this was what we came to call the trusted level. That was all around, they relied on your insight. They saw your integrity. They saw your ability to execute. They thought that your people were real and special. They've likely at this point gone on several trips with you. So you're starting to see this culmination of a relationship. And then we saw the last piece of the pyramid, which is all about being loyal. And loyal was saying, I wouldn't work with anyone else for travel. And I'm going to tell everyone else about you. That was the ultimate pinnacle of where you could get your customer to go to. And what we found was that there's a difference between these two parts of the pyramid. So we talked about how the bottom was very transactionally oriented. And I've sort of hinted that the top is very relationship focused. But I want to make one clear distinction. When I say relationship, many people think it's about how well, Pat and I know each other. How long have we gone back? Oh, we went to high school together. It's very personal. That's just part of a relationship. What we found was that these agencies actually bring another part to it. And that part is all based on value. Value from a professional standpoint, meaning the services that you were providing, the ability to handle crises or issues as they occurred, your ability to mitigate risk or save time, to do all the things that you were saying that you were going to be able to do. That people were willing to pay that premium and they were willing to constantly go with you because they had the personal relationship with you and they could count on you professionally to deliver on their expectations. For many people, these trips are a trip of a lifetime. And maybe that trip of a lifetime actually takes them to multiple destinations throughout their life, but you're not going to get the next one if you don't deliver on your promises. And so, again, relationship based on both personal and professional value. Now, you may ask yourself, how do you get there? How do you make that flip from engaged to invested? And what we saw was that these agencies were doing three things really good. The first, we've actually already talked about. The first was all about being very deliberate and thoughtful about where they wanted to compete on the graph, but then using those 6 principles. They were purposeful. They were intentional. They were aligned. They were inclusive. They were courageous and they were proactive. They had all of that down. They were running like a fine-tuned machine. And because of that, they could then start to look in other areas for improvement. The second thing that they improved upon is that there was a change in marketing principles. The way that they were going to market, the way that they were communicating and carrying themselves was completely different. The way that the best are doing it is leaps and bounds past what you see with many other agencies. There's so much potential there. And so in future videos, we're going to dive into the marketing component. The last thing that we saw that enabled them and propelled them up to the next level was this rethinking of the sales process. Now, when I say that, it wasn't just a rethinking of, oh, we need different steps. It was actually that it's not actually a process, it's a cycle. How do we make sure that our customers never get out of our portfolio or that they never stop thinking about travel with us? How do we stay in the front of their mind? We also have some videos that will be coming up and that we'll be releasing focused on that. What are those strategic principles? What are those marketing components? What are the sales pieces? And then how do you bring that into your business to be successful? This concludes the video on the value pyramid. If you do have any further questions on this and how you can begin to move up, please let me know. But I think you're going to get a lot more insight out of the following videos on marketing and sales. Take a look at those and see and ask yourself, how are those principles enabling me to get to the next level? Thank you.